I see the call. I see Corey Lewandowski, and Corey's a big star. But you know what? Before the music starts, before the hour starts, Corey calls in. He's locked and loaded and ready to come on the air. Corey, we appreciate that, man. Welcome back, my friend.
Joe, it is always great to be on with you. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, Corey. We appreciate it so much. Hey, man, so in the book, by the way, from Corey, forthcoming book, Trump, America First, the President Succeeds Against All Odds. Corey, thanks again for being with us. I watched the president in France. I watched what he's going through. I see all that's happening. I told everybody, please calm down. Everything's okay. It's going to be fine. This is the negotiation. Everybody's getting crazy. Give us your take of how the president did in France, sir, at the G7.
Well, the president obviously went to the G7 to reiterate what he has espoused here in the United States, which is we're going to put America first. That doesn't mean America alone. It means America first. And let me just say, Joe, for the record, if this president would have invited someone to the G7 that wasn't invited the way President Macron did, it would be the media's heads exploding.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yes.
But because Macron is much more liberal, he gets a pass for that. And look, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. That was Macron's decision to make that invitation. But if the president would have done that, you're already seeing the media saying he's going to invite Vladimir Putin next year, because it's going to be in the United States. They're already talking about what the president may do a year from now, as opposed to talking about the fact that they went there. And look, we know this. These organizations, the G7s of the world, the G8s, the G20s, they have no real influence. These are world leaders who get together. There's no organization. And so, look, it's fine that the president went there, but I think I'm much happier when the president is back here in the U.S. fighting for American citizens.
It's such a great point, Corey Lewandowski with Joe on the radio, because the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, he invites one of the leaders from Iran to come in there. And then I'm watching, Corey, stay with me on this, man. I'm watching the end of it all, and they're tying it all together. And you have President Trump and Emmanuel Macron there at the podium. And I'm waiting for the president to go, that wasn't really a smart or something. He was gracious. He applauded Macron. He reached over to his friend. He said, I'm telling you, it was just, I thought the whole G7 trip for President Trump was a complete home run.
Wait, look, this is what the media tends to miss. When the president travels overseas, he's always more exceptional. He always puts America first. I remember the first trips he took when he went over to Israel, and look, I think he's going to Poland later this week. He is so well received in other places because of the positions that he has taken, that the media has a very difficult time arguing with his foreign policy. Now, they don't like the trade fight with China, but I think you're going to look back and you're going to see that in 30 years from now, this fight was very important to the future of our country. Not even talking about the deal that he just cut with Abe in Japan.
That's right.
I was watching Fox yesterday. Had the governor of, I think, South Dakota on, talking about that this trade deal is going to be very important for farmers and for crops, opening up the marketplace there. So that's a win for the people of the United States, and particularly the farmers, that deal.
Yeah. Hey, Corey, wait, the president's going to Poland? What, this week? Next week he's going to Poland?
I think he's going to Warsaw. I think he's got a trip planned. I don't think that's a nuclear secret, so I think he's heading overseas again to go to Poland, and I think that was part of originally going to be the Denmark trip, which has been postponed.
Okay, we got a lot to talk about, but man, you were there. You were with the man, and you were there walking with him every step of the way. Where does the energy come from for the 73-year-old Donald J. Trump? I mean, the trips that he's taking, it's amazing. He just has that stamina 24/7, Corey.
Well, he does, Joe, and you've seen, because he was just in France yesterday. He was tweeting at 1 a.m., French time. He was then he was tweeting at 6 a.m. our time, which is basically the same time I think I'm not great on math, but I went to a public school. But it just never ends. He's always on. He's always fighting. And part of the reason I think he's been so successful, whether it's in New York real estate or whatever he's attempted to do, is because he's working 22 hours a day every day, and it's impossible to keep up with him. I tried it, and look, I'm a pretty fit guy.
Yeah,
and,
man.
He can run circles around you guys.
I love that, man. Hey, rumor is you're thinking of running for United States Senate from New Hampshire, Corey Lewandowski. Is this true, sir?
Joe, I'm sitting here in my home state of New Hampshire, actually in my hometown, in a little cafeteria. We sit here, a little a diner, as we call them here in New England. And I'm really thinking about it, and I'll tell you why. Jeanne Shaheen, the incumbent U.S. Senator, voted against Justice Gorsuch. She voted against Justice Kavanaugh. She voted to continue to fund sanctuary cities. Those aren't the values of the people of New Hampshire.
Yeah.
The people of New Hampshire in general want smaller government, lower taxes, and less regulation. And I truly believe that she has voted in lockstep now with the Chuck Schumer, Dick Durbin, Nancy Pelosi, Ilya Oham wing of the Democratic Party. And Jeanne Shaheen has not once called out those colleagues of hers who are serving, who said anti-Semitic things. She's not once called out her colleagues. Look, Joe Biden, who we could say is the front runner to the Democratic nomination, was in my home state last week saying, boy, I love Keene, Vermont. It's such a beautiful place. I've been here dozens of times. I love Keene. Hey, let me give you a piece of advice, Uncle Joe, okay? Know which state you're in. And where is the senior senator saying, well, Joe's a little slow? No criticism of the far left wing of the Democratic Party, of which she's becoming. And on top of that, Joe, I love capitalism. I love making money. Jeanne Shaheen has been in public service for 22 years. She started off with a very average income, and now she's one of the wealthiest members of the United States Senate. It's amazing how people do that, right? They get into elective office, and they become very, very rich.
Yeah.
So, I just think that the people of New Hampshire deserve someone who, A, can work with the White House to help achieve and accomplish the goals of the state, which includes making sure that the money from FEMA and other places are reaching the people here in New Hampshire. I don't think Jeanne Shaheen has that ability, and she cannot point to one piece of significant legislation she's passed in the last 12 years in the U.S. Senate.
Yeah. You know what, Corey, you're so right, though. How do they get that money, though? How do you think they get that money? Because there's so many watchdog groups. I mean, you're absolutely right.
Joe, are there? We see, honestly, we see this all the time. What we see is people go in, and you know what they do? They hire their husband becomes a lobbyist. Their wife becomes a lobbyist. Remember Tom Daschle?
Yeah.
He used to be the Senate Majority Leader. His wife was a lobbyist for Major League Baseball. It's amazing, okay? And these things do all the time. So, I can't make money. Okay, all of a sudden, bing, your wife is making $4 million a year. Your husband, I don't know what Billy Shaheen, the governor's husband's interests are, but maybe that's how they make all the money. But I think it's very interesting, to be honest.
I know. And you know what else, Corey Lewandowski? It's nice that you're going home, because it's so funny how Bill Clinton the Clintons never went back to Arkansas. I never understood that, and I never understood how the Obamas now bought $15 million, oceanfront in Martha's Vineyard. They're not going to the south side of Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Donald Trump, when he goes home, Donald Trump.
Beautiful people.
Huh?
They're beautiful people now. See, when you start off as a non-beautiful person, which is where I've started, and I'm still a non-beautiful person. I don't have a country club membership. I don't pay to anywhere I got to go except my gym. Okay, so the only money bill I have is my gym. I have to go get worked over.
Yeah. Oh, man.
It's because growing up poor gives you perspective. Yeah. And it reminds you to stay poor sometimes.
Corey Lewandowski, kind enough to join us this early in the morning. Corey, when's the new book coming out, sir?
Well, look, I'm going to release the updated version of our paperback, which is called Trump's Enemies, How the Deep State is Undermining the Presidency. Okay. The updated version is coming out very soon. I just wrote a forward chapter on that based on the Mueller testimony that he gave, so that'll be out probably in about 2 months. And then I'm going to hope to release the new book, Trump America First, in probably February or March of next year, maybe a little bit later.
Yeah.
And that way it'll be a prelude to the convention and then ultimately the election.
All right, hey, Corey, before we let you go, 2020, how is it looking to you?
Look, I love the president's chance in 2020, just to wrap up, and let me tell you why. I think the economy is stronger, $9.2 trillion of stock market value, lowest unemployment rate in literally 50 years, most people's lifetimes.
Yep.
And we're not at war anywhere. He's putting America first. He's renegotiating bad trade deals. He's fundamentally changed the outcome of the federal judiciary for the better for conservatives. And so by every metric, whether it's Homeland Security, national security, or economic security, when you go to the ballot box, if you ask yourself, are we better off today than we were 4 years ago? The answer is an unequivocal yes, and that, I think, warrants another 4 years.
Yeah, as a Corey Lewandowski, please come back anytime, man. Good luck on the U.S. Senate run. Hopefully you'll go in the great state of New Hampshire. We'll be looking for the books, and you're always welcome back here, Corey. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thanks, Joe. Have a great day.
You too, indeed. Corey Lewandowski right there. The president's a former campaign manager.